Mark Golding housing policy, a game changer for Jamaica, promises to build 10,000 affordable houses every year if elected. But is Mark Golding housing policy of building 10,000 low-cost houses every year, if elected as Prime Minister? Will this be a game changer for Jamaica? Mark Golding has a general election trump card that the current government will find hard to compete with. If elected as the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Marky G will summons the National Housing Trust to stop investing the people's money in luxury apartments for the rich. Instead, the National Housing Trust should build houses for people on minimum wage. The National Housing Trust was set up by former PNP leader Michael Manley to cater for the lower-income workers. However, the NHT has lost its way and has been lending money to large property developers who building apartments valuing $30 million to $50 million. All this will come to an end, as Marky G promised to start building 10,000 affordable houses every year while he is in office as Prime Minister. Marky G has given an iron fist detailed guarantee to build 50,000 houses over the next 5 years. This will be his first term in office, hence he can be voted out if he does not fulfill his time-sensitive promise after his first term in office. A revolutionary approach that Marky G will undertake to address Jamaica housing needs is the rent-to-buy strategy. This strategy is revolutionary for Jamaica, but is common in the UK where I'm currently living. In fact, I bought my first house in the UK 7 years after I had migrated under the same policy, called Right to Buy in the UK. This was in the 1990s, but many of the Windrush generations has become millionaires because of the Right to Buy scheme in the UK. For example, many Jamaican migrants in London bought their council houses that they occupied from the 1960s for just a few £1,000s. Then a few decades later, those houses were valued in the region of £1 million. Even us who bought our houses in the 1990s has seen house prices triple 2 or 3 decades later. Despite the financial meltdown in 2007, that lasted for over 10 years. Hence, in the same way that the Right to Buy in the UK has brought real prosperity to Jamaican diasporas, the Mark Golding rent-to-buy policy can bring real prosperity to many Jamaicans living in Jamaica. The Marky G housing policy looks quite similar to what I've been asking for on my YouTube channel over the last 6 months. I did at least 6 YouTube videos on the subject of mass house building for the lower-income Jamaicans. I've also made mention of this housing policy in most of my videos, but 6 of my videos were dedicated to the issue of mass house building for Jamaica's low-income workers. From my experience with friends and acquaintances in the UK, and from what I can see from my family and friends who have migrated to the USA. The one thing that Marky G should do to create stability and security for the new low-income homeowners is to use the tourism industry to create mass employment in every parish of Jamaica. When people are working to pay the mortgage on their own home, they will do any work to protect their investments. They just need to have work available near their communities or within the parish where they live, etc. Then they will do that work to pay their mortgage as we do when we migrate abroad, bearing in mind that I'm talking about low-skilled workers, not professionals. A key factor of Mark Golding policy is the commitment to build at least 500 houses in every constituency across Jamaica. This is a very critical component for a stable and peaceful Jamaica, to enable people to live, to work and raise a family in their own communities, where they have the extended family support structure to help look after their children.